Miracles come while we in the fight. Don't give up and hold him tight. You will have a visible battle scar, but never forget who you are and fight, fight, fight.
Hello, and welcome to Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. Embracing the Fight was created to help normalize the conversation surrounding physical and mental health issues and concerns. And each week, I try to bring a different topic, but I really started off the whole conversation with my journey through thyroid cancer. And as you can see, just looking at me, everything is going extremely well, and I am grateful to God. That's why we're talking about in episode 13, there's no such thing as luck. Well, I like to look at it like this. I consider, everything that happens in my life, it happens for a reason. I say that because over the past few weeks, God has been bringing different people in my life to help hold me accountable. If you recall, there was a few weeks ago where I was saying that, I had a hard time exercising, eating right, and doing the things that I need to do to help my body to heal properly and to lose the weight, that I want to lose. Well, I actually had reached out to someone that I haven't spoken to in years, that I can't really even say that, I know really, really well, but they had put a very interesting post on Instagram, and it just made me reach out, to say hi, because I wanted to know how they progressed with something that they were working on in the past. Well, in that process, I was telling them what, I really wanted to do. And somehow they wanted to work with people as well on their fitness, but they just began started. So I'm basically going to be their prototype. So I'm like, God, you heard me. Because at this point, I started doing a boot camp 2 days a week, and that's wonderful. But I was still trying to, eat a Sunday here and, eat a Chick-fil-A meal there. I was trying to do, those things, but that's not, the right way to get to where I want to. I mean, just because I'm burning a bunch of calories doesn't mean that, I have to eat a bunch of calories up. The way you lose weight is if you have a caloric deficit. You gotta burn more calories than you actually take in. So I was doing it just the opposite. I was eating what I was burning up. So it was like I was just maintaining, the same weight. So I've been stretched in that area, because now I have someone that is not only bringing the workouts and looking at what I'm eating, but they're also holding me accountable to what I'm saying. Do you have someone that will hear what you say, then they bring it back to you, and then they say to you, everything that you're saying, you're manifesting it, in your life. And as a believer, if you're saying these, negative things, you've spoken it into the atmosphere, because you're supposed to speak things as though they are so. And I'm sitting here like, okay, this is exactly, what I needed, because I honestly was struggling, with all of that, making sure that I was saying and doing the right things, and exercising and eating right, as well. So like I said, there is no such thing as luck. All things happen in decent and in order, and it's by God's design and his intention. So what I'd like for you to do, along with me, I should say, is be intentional. Yeah, I know. I'm one of these folks that, it's not necessarily normal or easy for me to write in a journal each and every day, because as I've told you guys before, I tend to struggle when it comes to certain things, when it requires a certain level of consistency. And journaling is one of those things. I know I love to write, but I don't like to write about exactly what, I'm doing or what I'm going through. I like to write stories for entertainment, for fun, things of that nature. I'm not trying to sit there and write my thoughts and my feelings out. But then I say that and I was convicted because the only way, to really get it out is to write it down. The word says write the vision, make it plain. So if my vision is to lose weight, to be healthy, and be the best version of myself, why not take the time to write it down? Am I not worth that? I had to ask myself that. I asked myself that, quite a few times because I was so busy and so ready to jump out and help other people that I still didn't realize that I was leaving myself behind. So lately, with this levothyroxine that I'm taking, and I told you they reduced it down. The dosage has been reduced, and my body still, hasn't fully lined all the way out because previously, um, I thought it was under control in a sense because I wasn't as tired and I was able to exercise, and then I didn't require as much sleep. I could get 4 to 5 hours and be fine, and now I'm tipping on 7 or 8, and when I wake up after those 7 or 8, I still, feel exhausted. And this is something that I'll be bringing up when I speak with my endocrinologist after, not next week, but the following week, when I go in to try to see if I need to take some additional lab tests. Because she said 8 weeks from the first time that she got me to take the test to see how the levothyroxine was actually performing, within my system. And I think I'm around 6 or 7 weeks at this point. But I want to know if there's anything else I need to do so I don't have to keep, going back and forth with these doctor visits. While, I don't mind going to the doctor, but I want to make sure that I'm getting the most bang for my buck. Because if you think about it, if I continue to go to the doctor and they continue to change the medication, the medical bills continue to stack up. And that's not something I necessarily want to deal with either, because that, impacts me mentally as well. And I know I shared with you all a few weeks ago about, how I hadn't been reimbursed. Well, I'm still in the fight, with the company that handles our FMLA and short-term disability benefits. But that's still another story, because once it's resolved, then I'll be able to tell you what I did, how long it took, and why it took so long, because I'm still, in the fight. So there's no point in really, diving into that today. But today, what I want you guys to understand is that I am going to be better because I'm being intentional about what it is that I want and what it is that I want to become. So I want to be healthy and I want to become the best version of myself. So if I want to be healthy, that means I have to consistently eat right and exercise. But if I want to become the best version of myself, I have to do things that will cause me to build myself personally. So a lot of people, they talk about these self-help books and they talk about, going to therapy and all these different things, which, all those things are good. You can do the self-help and you can go to therapy because, God created all those things. But something else that I have to admit that I don't do as much as I did when I was younger. Growing up, I was 100%, at church. I was reading my Bible. I was praying. I was doing all these things. And it was then that I looked back and said, you know what? I was functioning at my greatest. And people say, oh, that's because you were young. No, that's not so. I remember when I was young that I used to do oratorical contests and speeches. And I used to present in front of those large Baptist conventions. And I started recalling that was when I was really, really studying and really, really, really praying and really, really meditating on God's word. And I know a lot of people, you're probably thinking, well, I do that and I still, haven't gotten anywhere. Well, you got to realize that there's more than one piece, to that puzzle. You have to not only know the word and stand on the word, you have to have faith and you have to work towards what it is. So there are three things that you have to do. You can't just do one and hope it's going to happen. Now, of course, there is favor. And favor isn't fair, and God, just does that how he wants to do it. But at the same time, when you're out there studying his word, having faith, and working towards it, there's a thing called a blessing. And he can bless you. And he can help you get to where it is that you want to be. But because he gives us free will, he gives us the choice to live, to do, to act, and to be. With that being said, I choose to be the best version of myself. I choose to be healthy. I choose God. I choose his ways. I choose his love. I choose his peace, his grace, his mercy, his power. I love God. If you're able to say it with me, say, I love God. I love God. God is everything to me. Now, there was a point in my life where I did struggle and I wondered, if God heard me, because I'm like, I'm asking for all these things. I'm talking to God about all these things. And it looked like, little to nothing was happening. But I had to realize that there were things happening. They just weren't happening the way that I planned them. And God's plans are totally different from ours. He's moving on your behalf in the background. So, as I promised, I wanted to show you all that I'm holding myself accountable. This is day 1 of my fitness journey. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, all the measurements, as well as what my body looks like currently. This is day 1. Won't you fight with me? Know that he is willing and able to fight your battles. Know that he loves you. Know that whatever concerns you concerns him. And I had to realize all of that because I was out here, struggling and thinking about all these things. And if God is concerned about these little birds and all the animals in the world, about making sure that they have something to eat and somewhere to live and just a way to exist, don't you think he'd do that for you? So I had to realize that everything that I've heard about God is true. Everything that I feel when it comes to God, it's true. I just have to continue to do the work. I used to try to say that, it's not that, I don't believe in God. It's because I don't have the faith in myself. But you are supposed to have that kind of faith. Your faith is supposed to be in God. God gets the glory in all of it. So when you send your kids off to school and you're at home and you're watching the news and you see something Like what happened earlier this week, where this person goes into this school. They kill 3 school teachers and 3 children. And those kids, all 3 of them, 9 years old, they haven't even had a chance to begin their life. People always, try to say, where was God? God was there.
Prayer was taken out of schools. But we still want him to be there. Make it make sense.
God was there. Sometimes we just have to learn to accept what he allows. Of course, it's heinous and it's horrible to see things happen like that. And I can't speak for God. I can't explain why it happened. But there's a change that has to happen. And we can't expect it to happen until we fall on our knees, until we exercise our faith, until we believe, until we put God back to where he belongs in our lives. And I'm saying all this because it's something as simple as exercise and my health, and seeing what I've seen, the past few days on the news and in the world. It's evident that God is coming back, and he's coming back soon. And I'm sure you've probably heard that your entire life, but all of these storms and animals loose, lions in LaGrange, Georgia. Of course, the lion was in the zoo, but still, just imagine coming out of the store and you see a lion in the middle of the street. Or you're walking down your street where a storm just happened and the road is opened up completely. I mean, it's so much that we're seeing and that we're experiencing that is looking like what was described in Revelations. And no, I am not a minister, but I am a believer. And I want you to understand that it's time. It's time to get right in every aspect of your life. And I'm saying to you that even though I'm just talking about, my health here, and I'm just talking about my relationship with God and what I'm trying to do, the better person I'm trying to become, think about what it is that you're trying to do and what you're trying to become. Write it down. Have faith. Work hard on it. And trust God. And then come back, look over it. See what progress you've made. Because my problem with consistency is I would do a thing, pick it up, put it down. Forget all about it. Come back to it. Pick it up, put it down. Forget all about it. And then I would look at other people and I'd say, you know what? They picked it up when I picked it up, but they didn't put it down. And this is where their progress is. And I'm not comparing myself to them. I'm just saying that I see what consistency looks like. I was given an example to see what consistency looked like. And I want to follow that. I want to be just as consistent. I want to be just as good at being consistent as I've seen. Now, you got folks who've been through a whole lot of things that have come out so much greater on the other side. I'm not saying I want to go through their struggle or through their battle, but I am saying I want to fight and have that level of consistency to get through. And I know a lot of people may or may not agree with what I've said today, but it's what's in my heart. It's what was given to me to say to you today. And I thank you all so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen to Embracing the Fight, to understand that it's not about luck, but it's all about God. It's all about God. You gotta know Jesus. You gotta know him for yourself. You have to be consistent. You have to stay in your word, and you have to believe. Thank you so much for taking a moment to listen to Embracing the Fight. Again, I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. Have an amazing day.